All right, Zach, thank you. Well, lawmakers are working on a new budget, but unlike last session, they have a surplus, and Governor Perry is not promising any of that money will be put back into public education. And with us this morning is Christy Rome. She's with the Texas School Coalition, and you're working on improving state school finance laws. It's good to see you, Christy. Thanks so much. So what do you think? We've got more money.
We do.
Is it coming back to public education? What do you think?
We certainly hope so. We know now that our schools endured a $5.4 billion cut when you look at the formula cuts plus program cuts over the last 2 years. And we know that there were $8 billion that are left on the table. So we hope to see that money coming back to schools to bring us up to the previous levels, if not higher.
How did those cuts affect schools in the last 2 years? What did we see specifically?
Well, unfortunately, the cuts came at a time when the money went down and standards went up.
Right.
And there are higher expectations for schools and students now.
You're talking about the standardized testing.
Absolutely.
That they mandated, okay.
The test and accountability system have gone up, and schools are expected to prepare college-ready students, which is a great goal, but they need the resources to do that. And unfortunately, the cuts have meant that many of those programs that offered additional instruction for after-school tutoring and summer school and things of that nature, those are the very programs that schools have had to cut.
Did we see performance go down in the last couple of years? Or is it still too soon to measure?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
We have seen performance go down, although I think many would argue it's too soon to measure. That first round of testing is always a difficult one, but we know that this is the lowest we've seen our students perform on those standardized tests, even with a new test. So that is a concern.
Okay, you have talked to lawmakers, and what are they saying? Do you think that there's a chance that we will recoup all that money, some of that money?
I think there is a desire amongst many lawmakers to bring schools and to restore that funding, to bring schools up and prepare them to meet that standard. But I think there's also some hesitation from other lawmakers. So it's one of those challenges of the legislative session and the priorities that lawmakers have.
Right. And I don't think it's really as much as, the issue being whether that money will be recouped, but how that money will be recouped, right? Like how they're going to spend that money.
Exactly. There are competing priorities, and we hope
charter schools, right? That's a big one.
There are lots of priorities within education and outside education, and we hope that lawmakers will invest in the future and ensure that students have the resources they need to be prepared for the future.
Where would you like to see that money go?
We'd like to see that money go to public schools and to benefit those students. We know that over the last 2 years, every biennium, our state population in our schools increases by about the size of Austin ISD. And at the same time that we saw that population increase in students and an increase in students with higher needs, we also saw that there were 12,000 teaching positions that were cut, 15,000 other positions that were cut. So we have more students, we're expected to do more, but schools have less.
And they have fewer teachers.
That's right.
So do you think, are you optimistic about the session?
I always have to enter at this point in time being optimistic and hopeful and believe that legislators will see the value of investing in public education.
Yeah, it kind of seems like a no-brainer, right?
I hope so.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much, Christy, for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate your insight. And still ahead.